All right, guys, welcome back to another Pep Talk with Tom and Jeff. And always with me, I have Tom. Tom, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you, Jeff?
Doing pretty good. We're going to be diving into cannabis today. This one's what we've been looking forward to.
Yeah, cannabis sustainable packaging, right? What
Yep.
did we do? We bought a bunch of different packaging of cannabis and we consumed and smoked them all. And now we're going to talk about them, dude. It's going to be
Yep.
far out,
It's going to be
man.
far out. We're going to give tons of reviews and hopefully they make sense. Just kidding. But uh,
Yeah. Let's see what happens. What are we talking about? Like the 5 different types of sustainable packaging? What we're doing
yep.
for
The
cannabis? Okay.
Yep, the top 5 eco-friendly packaging options. So what I'll do is I'll name them. Then of course Tom always has the science aspect behind things and a lot more education behind it, which is the exciting part. So let's just go ahead and get into it today with the top 5.
Yeah.
Start starting with number 1 is the hemp materials. Number 2 is the ocean reclaimed plastics. That's our favorite one. Number 3 is the biodegradable packaging, also a very important one. Number 4, compostable materials. Number 5, of course, last but not least, the glass packaging. And this is a big one that we wanted to get into as well. So let's just go ahead and get into these topics.
Yeah, let's start with number 1, right? Hemp materials. So hemp was kind of, I don't know, I think it was like the paper industry made hemp illegal back in like the trust buster days, right? Like the sugar trust and the paper trust and all that stuff. There's a fun Elaine says something from Seinfeld about trust buster, bust this. It's one of my favorite lines from Seinfeld. Anyway, hemp packaging is really cool. Like if you could take like during the farming and processing of cannabis or marijuana or CBD oils or whatever it is, if you could take some of that waste product and form it into like an injection mold or thermoform plastic packaging, that's pretty rad, right? So you're taking the waste from your own industry and turning it into your packaging. That's a pretty cool idea. I haven't dug really deep into how that works or anything like that. I mean, I've seen hemp packaging before. But again, I think it's going to be something that's going to come onto the market to create that whole circular economy around cannabis. And in general, I feel like a lot of these cannabis companies are really inclined to save the planet because they're selling a plant, right? So it's like, well, we want to keep the planet around for a while so that we can continue to grow our product. And it just kind of fits into that whole thing, like even from the old school hippies and, all the way to the millennials of today that, are very sustainable packaging conscious. I think that hemp material is pretty cool. So, but let's talk about number 2 because that's our favorite.
Yeah, ocean reclaimed plastics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish we should make everything out of ocean reclaimed plastics until there's zero plastic in the ocean to make stuff out of. That is awesome. Like, get it out of there. I know there's huge initiatives of people just cleaning up the ocean. There's a thing about there's like just this huge island floating around of plastics. And we spoke about this, Jeff, a while ago about how like the Philippines and like these countries are dumping like a ridiculous amount of plastic into the ocean, which sucks. And they need to stop that. But until they do, we should be doing our best to pull all of that out and not just incinerate it, but turn it into something usable. So if we could do that, it should be done, not just for cannabis packaging, for every type of packaging. Get it out of the ocean. I love that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's packaging, just to kind of give you some insight on that category that Tom is talking about, the packaging that he's talking about aims to transition cannabis packaging away from the linear use and dispose of economic model and towards a circular economic model meant to eliminate waste and pollution. Again, huge, right? I mean, it's just absolutely. So it keeps the products and materials in use and regenerate our natural systems. That's absolutely huge. I mean, that's just what Tom was talking about. Other countries are putting too much plastic into the ocean here, and here we are with things that are completely working to keep it 100% ocean out of the ocean. So it's huge. So
yeah, that's super sick. Please do that if you could get all the plastic out of there.
Absolutely.
And like, so that kind of brings us to number 3, which is a weird one. Biodegradable packaging. What does that mean? Right? Like, are we just turning big chunks of plastic into smaller chunks of plastic, and then it makes it into the ocean and into the fish, and then we eat it, and then everybody's got us. I think they say we consume on an annual basis like a credit card worth of microplastics every year.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah. I mean, I just get it out of the ocean, and I'll skip the middleman and just eat one of my credit cards. It'll probably save me millions of dollars anyway. You know?
You're not going to swipe it anymore.
Yeah. I have to stick my gut up to the thing to find the RFID that's somewhere in my digestive tract. It's in there somewhere. Hold on.
It's not swiping for some reason. Sorry, guys.
I was in the duodenum yesterday. I think it's in the large intestine now. Yeah. Tomorrow, small intestine.
Yeah. Pretty sure the acid got it broken down, but no, not there yet.
No.
So,
it's not scanning. So I don't know about biodegradable plastic. That seems like a little bit of greenwashing. Like I know that there's innovation on being able to take plastics down to its root form and then rebuild new plastics out of it. But if you're talking biodegradable, just like, hey, it turns into a bunch of small pieces of microplastic, really not great for anybody. You know, it's just like, well, if I can't see it, it's not there. Okay. So I don't like that one, but so let's just skip that one and say biodegradable is questionable. It's a dubious proposition at best, but compostable has legs, right? I mean, compostable packaging is based out of bio-based materials typically. I think the most common is PLA or polylactic acid, if you're familiar with that. If you have a 3D printer, it's probably printing with PLA. PBSA, which is polybutylene succinate adipate. That's just fun to say. Yeah. EcoVio, which is way easier. But there's just a bunch of development around compostable. The issue with compostable is twofold, right? Number one, it's 4 to 5 times more expensive. So that's going to be a tough sell. I mean, at least cannabis is expensive, right? If a bag this big is holding $50 worth of contents, then you can hide an extra $1 in packaging cost. But if a bag this big is holding, like 67 cents worth of screws from Home Depot, where are you going to hide that cost? So compostable and cannabis are probably one of the few places where you can hide the cost to go to compostable. So number one is the cost. And then number two is compostable doesn't really do well with anything that has moisture in it. I mean, the whole point of compostable is like once it's exposed to water and then bugs get into it, it starts to break down. So kind of the rule of thumb with compostable, it needs to be 100% dry goods, like freeze dried something or peanuts or, like something with zero moisture. But you know what you don't want to have zero moisture in? Your cannabis. Nobody wants like a bunch of dried up, like, I don't know, like oregano flakes, nobody. So that's the issue there is like you could use compostable packaging, but is the moisture in the cannabis going to start to degrade the package? Or do you have to put super dry cannabis that nobody wants in there? Again, I'm talking about flour. I guess for gummies or some other stuff, it would be okay. But anything flour related, I don't know if that would jive with compostable, but maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge maybe on that one. So on the number 4, what out of maybe 1 to 10, how would you rate that one?
Compostable? I think if the price came down, it would be number 2 behind the Ocean Reclaim. And then number 5 is glass. Glass is great. I love glass. I mean, especially for cannabis, they'd like you to be able to see, especially those growers, like they want you to see all the crystals and like whatever, all that stuff on there. The downside, glass is great from a reusability standpoint. You just bring it in, clean it, put more stuff in it. Love that. It's heavy. It breaks. But it's got great barrier. But it doesn't have a ton of UV barrier unless you're tinting it. And I know that UV light knocks down the I don't know, all the stuff that the psychotropic effects of marijuana. Don't leave your flower in the sun because it will become less potent. So that's the only downside of glass, but I'm assuming you could just blow in like a UV inhibitor or a tint to it, then it would be fine. Assuming that UV inhibitor, if you're going reusable, doesn't have a shelf life. Like a lot of times UV inhibitors, they last for a while and then they are no longer blocking UV. The UV ultimately breaks down the inhibitor and then there's no more UV inhibitor. So I don't know. Again, I'm kind of grasping at straws. I know this is going to be I don't know. I put that one at 3. I mean, again, just like we talked about with pet food sustainability, you can obviously go flex pack. You could do pure PE solutions, and you can put in EVOH for barrier as opposed to like metal or something like that, and make it recyclable. You can actually metalize compostable materials, which is crazy because aluminum is found in the earth and the soil in a certain percentage. And so if you're composting metallized packaging that's compostable, that's not a problem, which seemed weird to me. I'm like, we're just dumping aluminum in the ground. I'm like, yeah, but there's already aluminum in the ground. It's a naturally occurring metal. I'm like, oh, right. Okay, that sounds cool. What do I know? So that's kind of like the ways to do it. But again, you could do PCR, post-consumer resin, PIR, switch your polyester for polyethylene and make a pure polyethylene bag. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. The hemp packaging I thought was cool. From a circular economy, can you take the waste from your industry and make packaging out of it? Ocean bound for every industry, or ocean reclaim, ocean bound, however you call it. Awesome. And then glass is a good solution. It's just heavy and it breaks. But outside of that, there's a lot of appeal in the cannabis space. If you go into a dispensary now, like let's say you're in a place that's recreational legal, like California, where our office is, there's a ton of pouches. There's a ton of like thermoform and injection mode, and there's a ton of glass. I mean, it's kind of cool with cannabis is that not just about every type of packaging format out there.
Yeah. Yeah, glass is definitely multifunctional. That's, the good thing about that. So just to kind of wrap things up a little bit, that was Tom and I's top 5. Now, of course, we had one that was kind of sticking out like a sore thumb a little bit, and that was the biodegradable. Maybe you guys have some opinions on that one and kind of hear your guys' insight. Drop a comment down. We would love to hear from you guys. And just to kind of get your insight, and then for the other 4, we would love to hear your feedback as well. But again, that kind of wraps up the future of sustainability on the cannabis packaging. And we love to do these with you guys. We hope they're short and sweet, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, short and sweet like me. Thanks, guys. Like and subscribe. Surprise. Like and subscribe. Thank you. See you next Pep Talk.
See you next Pep Talk. See you guys. We'll see you.